So
sir.
core belief number two. Once you really get to this centric identity and you understand who you are and that you're capable and you have some great attributes that's going to lead you into success, you need to find out if the conditions are right. So let's say you look at the company and the opportunity. The first thing, in my opinion, that I would look at is who's my boss?
Mm,
Is that person stable in their life? And there's a lot of factors that go into whether they're stable or not. But hopefully, it's a thriving team. It's a team that he's or she is has under them that are happy in their position,
mm,
and truly being lifted up. I've had some great mentors in my time, and really appreciative of people that saw, that light in me or the goodness in me, and just kept offering and encouraging me to grow. Um, and so hopefully you're going to go work for your direct supervisor, the person that you're going to
mm.
probably spend the most time with is a person that's going to be a positive influence. And we can learn a lot from people that aren't positive influences. But man, it is so much better, so much more
Mm.
fun to work on a sustainable environment for a supervisor that's good and going to speak life into you.
Mm.
So I think good congruent core values are important. I think those are important to, and at the end of the day, with who do you want to hang out with after the work day is over? Is that the kind of person that you want to go get a cup of coffee with or have dinner with? And I think that's important too. It's just likability of your direct supervisor. Do you admire them? Do they have a trait or characteristic that you could really use more of?
Yeah.
I have a great friend, and he's one of the most remarkable human beings in my life that I've ever met. He's an interesting guy, but he's just a humble human being. And I would say he's probably one of my best friends. And he just he's got this characteristic. He's always serving other people,
Mm.
and that's really not my nature. Like I think by nature I'm a little bit selfish, and I uh, sometimes need more doses of that humility. But he's my best friend, I think, because I just admire that trait in him so much. And when I'm around him, it helps me be more humble. It helps me really enhance that characteristic.
Mhm.
So I think the people that you're around in a company are really important. What are their core values? And if they're not enunciated, you can kind of get a taste of their culture after being around them for a little while. Hard to do necessarily in an interview, but uh,
Mhm.
you can feel some things. The other thing is, check out their finances. These days, finances are easily readily available. Is the company, and I'm not talking about the person's the
Right.
supervisor finances. Hopefully, they're making money, um, but is the company stable? I've worked for several companies that have gone under,
Mm.
and you just never know. And there's no crystal ball necessarily what the economy is going to do, or there's no sure thing, that's for sure. But just check out the company, make sure that they're not bleeding cash, or make sure they're not downsizing or sizing in other areas. And if they are, you may want to really just reconsider. You may want to think, man, is this an industry also that's thriving?
Mm.
Um, I would hate my brother-in-law has the best ideas. I love this guy. He called me the other day and said, "I got a business idea for you." I go, "What is it?" He goes, "Drive-in theaters." And I said, because there's only like two left in the country. And I said, well, yeah, and there might be a reason for that. If drive-in theaters were making tons of cash, there would be more than two.
Yeah.
And so are you in a dying industry, or are you in an industry that is thriving? Is there a lot of growth potential in the particular industry that you're in? Or is it saturated? Or are you in an industry that might be saturated, but people just need? There's one of the hardest things you can do is take a new product, brand new product,
Mm.
uh, to a new marketplace, right? That is
Yeah.
really difficult to do. So if you're taking a new product, a new concept, unless you're Steve Jobs with an iPhone in his hand, people just want it. You got
Yeah.
a challenge in front of you. And so there might be sometimes you want that. You want to be the first guy selling satellite dishes, right? The DirecTV satellite dishes back in the early 90s or whatever, or early 2000s, man, that was probably a great gig, you know.
Mhm.
Um, but today, if you're going around selling satellite dishes to people, it's not going to work. There's Starlink is out there, you know. Elon Musk has figured all this out. We don't need those things, right?
Yeah.
So, is the industry right? Is the company in health? Is the leader that you're going to be dealing with? And then look at the team. Look at the people that are going to be in your position. Are they making the kind of money that you need to make? And is there a rock star on the team that you could nestle up with and learn everything you can from that person? Is there a possible mentor relationship? Because I think mentor relationships, and that's sort of what this is I'm an old guy in sales these days, long in the tooth, been doing it for a long time. And you're Philip, you're my guy, you know, we're learning together. And I learn from you too. But when it comes to how to be great in sales, man, you know, find a guy in your
Mhm.
company, especially in your industry, say, this is what I did. Follow me, do what I did. Right. And then be humble enough to just do what they do. And you can make the changes later on. Most of the time, I've hired hundreds and hundreds of salespeople throughout the years. The successful ones would come out of the gate and they would do exactly what I told them to do because my system works, right?
Yeah.
It just works, especially in credit card processing. And then they would get cocky and start doing it their own way, right? They were like, I got this. I got to figure it out. I don't need to do all the little things that you think I need to do. And eventually a lot of them would not make it. Most of them, in fact, would not make it because they lost the basic disciplines of what successful people do all the time, right?
Mhm.
And the difference between what successful people and unsuccessful people is successful people do every day what unsuccessful people do occasionally.
Mhm.
You know, and so a guy that's diligent is a guy that's going to win. I'm giving you some stuff for the next podcast, right? So you know, are the conditions right for success? You know, and then ask yourself this again: what kind of life will I have if I work for this company? Because there's companies that'll suck the life out of
Yeah.
you. Companies that'll put you to work and they'll say, "Hey, man, we encourage." They'll say the right things, but do they and I'm talking about your life balance with work, right? I'm talking about home life. But then
Mhm.
they'll call you on a Saturday and go, "Look, we need you to come in. We need to come in now."
Mm.
And so, in my opinion, going back in my life, I would never trade my family time for my work time, unless it was I just needed to make the money. I just wouldn't do it. Uh,
Mhm.
and there's a part of your life when you get to you go, I don't need the money, but I want the money. I think that it's way better to trade the money for the time. So
Yeah.